So, we have Black Friday coming up, and the number one thing on most people's list is usually some kind of video game console, isn't it? Could be an Xbox Series X, could be a PlayStation 5, could be the Nintendo Switch, could even be the Oculus Quest 2. I think I would include that in this as well, because they all have a place in our hearts and our minds, and of course on our shelves as well, for what we're doing as far as gaming today. In this list, I want to cover all 4 of them, and then maybe you can get an idea of what would work best for you, what would work best for your kids, what would work best for you as a family, or maybe just some dude sitting there on the couch being like, yo, I need a new game system. That's fine too. And trust me, I'm all about that as well. Starting off with the first one I want to talk about, of course, is the Nintendo Switch. Now, there is a newer model, the Switch OLED. You might see that pop up every once in a while. 50 extra bucks, but it gives you a sharper resolution when you're portable, a larger screen when you're portable, and the dock even has a plug-in for your thing that I'm stalling for names, because what's the name of that thing? Your Ethernet port, your LAN cable, whatever it's called. And that's fine. Now, I personally don't have one yet, because to get the full resolution, it looks the same when it's docked. So if you're just playing at home, it's gonna be the same thing. And when you're traveling, that's great. And trust me, I travel all the time, but with the new Switch OLED, it does not fit some of the things I use for travel. Because maybe you wanna use the Satisfy Grip. And the Satisfy Grip is really nice because it lets you hold onto it properly without it, kind of slipping through your hands. It actually gives you a proper grip on it from back here instead of trying to hold it like a tablet or something. Or my personal pick is this Fixture S1 adapter that literally plugs to your Pro Controller, because, the buttons are way too small for me and my giant hands. So with something like the Fixture, you can still play portably with your Pro Controller and then have it, just like that. So that's really nice for me, and I use this one more than anything. But again, I didn't grab the OLED model. I'm glad I didn't yet, because they don't have a fixture for it yet. Now, when they do, I'll probably grab one. But in the meantime, I'm good with just this. And again, the Switch has been around for like 5 years. Huge library of games. So many great indie games, like you can buy them on the eShop for like 99 cents. If you want to download a ton of games just to get you started, you're fine. There's also gonna be a bunch of demos available too. And of course, all the great first-party games, your Mario, your Zelda, the new Metroid that just came out. There's a new Kirby coming out soon that I'm super excited for. There's a lot of reasons to still be excited for the Nintendo Switch. I have friends who are my age, not super old, who say that the Nintendo Switch is the best Nintendo system of all time. Coming from me, who grew up with the NES, the Super Nintendo, the Nintendo 64, the Game Boy Advance, all the way up to the Nintendo Switch, there's people my age saying that the Nintendo Switch is the best Nintendo system of all time. It's hard to argue that statement. It's certainly one of the best, that's for sure. And again, it's been around like 5 years now, so if you haven't picked up a Nintendo Switch yet, now's not a bad time to do it. In fact, you'll probably even find them used in pawn shops, or if you want to grab the OLED model, then go for it. It's only 50 bucks extra, and it'll probably be the new standard for Nintendo Switch moving forward. Now, are they going to come out with a Switch 4K or something like that? Maybe like a Switch Pro next year? Maybe? I don't know. But in the meantime, this ain't bad. This right here is my Xbox Series S. I opted not to get the X because I use my Xbox for Game Pass. Now, there's nothing wrong with the Xbox Series X. You're paying a couple $100 extra for it just to play disc games, and a lot of people love their disc games, their physical collection. You can buy them used. I'm already starting to see some Xbox Series disc games available, like in pawn shops and in game stores and stuff like that, already coming in used and everything. Nothing wrong with that at all. And coming from me, I've always liked Xbox, but it was never my number one. My PlayStation was always my number one along the way. But when I knew this was coming out and I had access to Game Pass, I was like, you know what? I just need the S. It's all digital. There's no disc drive or anything like that. But with Game Pass, you can just download the games right onto your system and you're good. And if the game's not great for you, just delete it and grab something else. And there's a huge archive, not just of newer games too. A lot of new games coming out for Xbox are day one on Game Pass. Don't even have to wait in line, no midnight premieres, nothing like that. You just go download it and you're good to go. And there's also a huge archive of games that maybe you missed out on for the Xbox 360, for the Xbox One. Even the original Xbox, you can play Crimson Skies on this thing. I've been having a lot of fun playing Oblivion on this thing, Elder Scrolls, because the load time is way better than it used to be back when it was on like the 360 or the PlayStation 3. You play it on something like this, man, you are golden. I use my Xbox pretty regularly, and every time I sign in, it seems like there's always something new available. They're like, oh, hey, by the way, here's a new game for you. And it's something that's like, oh my God, I was actually looking at that on the Switch eShop, and I can get it now, and it's free? Well, free with Game Pass. There's a lot of reasons to love Xbox, especially in this day and age, and Game Pass, to me, is, man, that's one of the system sellers. It's one of the best things that Xbox could have ever done, ever. If Game Pass didn't exist, I'd be like, it's okay, you know. But it's not the case. With Game Pass, oh my God, it's so great. I haven't done my workout today yet, but here we go. Oish! This right here is my PlayStation 5. I did opt for the disc version of the PlayStation 5 because they announced that it was backwards compatible with PlayStation 4, and also you can play your PlayStation VR games on here as well. And most of my PlayStation VR games are still on disc. Now, my PlayStation 5 looks a little bit different because I have one of these adapters that you can turn your PlayStation 5 into playing, well, it turns your PlayStation 5 that has like a mobile monitor. Doesn't really make it very mobile because it also weighs 1,000 pounds, but it does make it handy. It's like if I'm streaming on Twitch or something like that, it's all in one. I can definitely use something like this. And I hate to admit it, but this thing's been around for about a year now, and we mostly use it for Netflix. We mostly use it for Amazon Prime. We mostly use it for Disney Plus. I do have some games on here, and I've played some games on here, and it's also very, very handy, super handy, if you want to stream on Twitch, but you don't know how to set things up for Twitch. You don't know how to, you know, like hook the thing to your computer and then have it go through Steam Labs and OBS and all that. There is a share feature. There was one on the PlayStation 4 as well. It's even better on PlayStation 5. It's still not perfect, but it's better than nothing. You can click the share button and stream on Twitch right from here. Like, it'll stream it for you, which is super, super wonderful if you just want to start streaming and get started on streaming on Twitch. YouTube as well. And it makes it super, super handy. So that's one thing I do love about the PlayStation 5. It's still kind of hard to find though. That's one of the hard things. It's still kind of hard to find, but if you do find one and you love it, that's great. Again, it's maybe I don't play as many games on it as I do other systems, but just the notion of having one. And now that we're finally about a year later, just now some great new games are coming out for it too, like Guardians of the Galaxy and so much more. And there's a lot of new games being announced. The new Spider-Man, the new Wolverine game, that's going to be amazing. So getting one now will get you ready for when those games do come out later on. But in the meantime, there's a great library of games, and like with the Xbox, backwards compatible with PlayStation 4, both digital and physical. So if you already have a bunch of games for your PlayStation 4, you're good to go with the PlayStation 5. Like for streaming, perfect. And it just looks kind of cool, right? It just looks neat. And then we have the system that I love to cheerlead, and I do call it a system. This is your Oculus Quest 2. This is your VR unit. You do not need a computer to hook this up. I get people who reach out to me every once in a while saying, I have questions about the Oculus. Do I need this? Do I need that? Whatever the case is. And I'm here to tell you, this is all you need. It comes with the 2 controllers. You can charge it, of course. I mean, there's a little charging dock on the side. It's all encumbered. There's no physical games for it, unfortunately. So if you're a physical collector, maybe not for you. But the computer is inside the headset. You're wire-free. I love my PlayStation VR. I love my PSVR, but there's a cord that I'm always attached to the PlayStation for it. For something like this, I can play in an empty room. I can travel with it and play, you know, in a room that, you know, there's no computer or anything hooked up to it. It's all in here. It's all in here. The little things on the side, those are your cameras that tell you like where everything is. And I can't tell you how much fun I have with this. Also playing with friends online too. It even calculates height. So sometimes I'll play with a friend of mine. They're like, oh, you're really tall. I was like, I wasn't kidding when I'm 6'5". And it shows up like that in the games too. You can adjust the height, of course. Great for workouts too, not that it shows on me, but I do like the fact that it does get me up and active playing games like Beat Saber, Synth Riders. There's a hole-in-the-wall style game called O-Shapes and stuff like that too. So much fun with this. I can't talk highly enough about this. The hard part is you can't see through it. You can double tap, so you can see through it and then double tap to get back into the game. But sometimes like I'll be playing a game where I think my kids are asleep, but then they're standing right in front of me needing something, but they're waiting for my attention, which I don't see them, and then I might reach out to unlock a door, and I end up like getting them in the jaws. Like I don't punch them or anything like that. I was like trying to open the door, and I end up trying to open their face, something like that. So watch out for that for sure. But my kid and I like playing this because there are free features on here like Rec Room, like VR chat. So then we could be in a virtual world together playing basketball, or be in a virtual world together just kind of walking around and having fun, or throwing a frisbee back and forth and stuff like that. There's little games and activities you can do. And again, 100% absolutely free. So I mean, this is not free, you gotta pay for this. But it's also nice because you can play these like these free features, these free demos. There's a lot going on with the Oculus Quest 2. I know there's always new stuff coming out for it as well. Resident Evil 4 is amazing. They made a VR Shadowgate for this recently. A lot of cool things happening with the Oculus Quest 2. I know VR gaming is in a different guild than like Xbox gaming or PlayStation gaming. It's its own thing, but to me it is a wonderful, wonderful thing. If you haven't checked it out yet, I encourage you to find someone who does have one just to experience it for yourself and see if you like it as well. So what matters with what? We got like several things to talk about, and I find use for literally everything I have, and it all features a place with me anyway. This guy right here, this is my escape. This is my, I had a long day at work, you know, come home, did the dishes, did the laundry, help out around the house, spend time with my kids, you know, maybe my wife and I will watch, like, Whose Line Is It Anyway on HBO Max, and then everyone else is in bed. I was like, you know what? I want to shoot some zombies in their face. That's where something like this comes into play. And I love the fact that it's wire-free and I can just stand in the middle of the living room, just, you know, just having fun with something like this. The Nintendo Switch? Well, this is my travel system of choice. Like I said, I do a lot of traveling, going to video game conventions, and this is what keeps me occupied on those flights. There's always new games available. There's always games I'm downloading as well, like the indie games. I love indie games, and they're always like, you know, $5, $10, something like that. And that to me is so worth it, just having something like this handy. And not bad when you're at home and playing games with your kids, because there's always a bunch of family-free games. I know Mario Party just came out, stuff like that. When it comes to video games, like actual video games, I use this more than anything. I use my Xbox Series S more than anything because of Game Pass. You pay your one-time, you know, it's like a monthly fee or something like that, or you can, however you want to do it. I think I'm paying for, I think it's like every 6 months or every 12 months, whatever it is. I just have it set up to automatically pay for it. Because to me, it's 100% worth it, because all the new games that come out, I watch these trailers like, oh, the game looks awesome, and day one on Game Pass. Oh my God, even better. So I know as soon as it comes out, I'm good to go. Don't have to wait in line. I don't have to go to, like, you know, GameStop first thing in the morning. Nothing like that. I am good with this. I play way more games on this. I mean, I was just playing, what was I playing? Playing something. I don't know, everything. How about that? Peggle 2, that's what it was. I was playing Peggle 2. It's a fun game. And then the beast, the PlayStation 5. I've been pretty critical on it only because I used to love, I mean, I still do. I've always loved my PlayStation products. PlayStation 1, 2, got a 3 at launch. I got the, I got a PSP Go, and the PSP Go was my travel system of choice until the Nintendo Switch came out. But I was critical on it because all the games I wanted to play on it were already on PlayStation 4. But now that we have new games coming out, like I said, Guardians of the Galaxy just came out. Wonderful game. Games like Wolverine is coming soon. The new Spider-Man. So many more games are coming out for this. It took a year. It took a full calendar year, but I'm happy that we're actually finally getting some awesome exclusive content for the PlayStation 5, and I'm all for it. So, of the 4, I use them all the time. I probably use most of them daily. The Nintendo Switch, mostly for travel. Xbox Series for gaming, like for actually playing games. I try to play a little bit of this every night, at least like, you know, some synth riders, a couple of levels or something like that, you know, just to keep my activity going. And then the PlayStation 5 is almost always turned on, because that's what we use for, you know, like, not just for streaming services. You can stream services and stuff through the Xbox as well. But for some reason, it's handier to us on the PlayStation 5. And then that's not just a streaming service, but it's nice to have the games that are available for it as well. You let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you're subscribed. There's always new videos coming out soon. We'll see you so soon. Thank you so much.